All right. Hey, I see Sherry. Hello, Sherry. Welcome. Good to see you again. And there's Aaron, of course. How are you guys? Oh, can you hear me, Sherry?
Yeah, something's goofy with my screen, but it's a me thing.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Fair enough. Well, let's get started. I have hit record for the folks that aren't going to be here. I know a number of people said Friday afternoon can't do it, but want to see the recording. But thank you guys for jumping on here. I want to introduce you to Simon Anderson. He is an international speaker, international futurist, maybe the smartest person I've ever met, certainly in the top two or three. Absolute
I
genius
don't
of
know.
a guy,
That's
good friend. We work together every week. We bounce ideas off of each other. But he's one of those great people just to know in the speaking community. But part of what I see all these people coming in now, so please forgive me on all of this. But one of the things that him and I have been talking a lot about is the tools that we need as a speaker. And of course, he's smart enough to actually be able to turn it into reality. So I'll let him kind of talk about SpeakerKey, but really the idea behind this is it's a tool specifically for speakers, made by speakers, and I am overwhelmed with how great this is. So I want to give him an opportunity to dig into this. But before I do that, I also want to share something around this idea of what to pay attention to today. Obviously, the system, he's looking for feedback, he's looking for input on the system itself, but even if the system isn't something that you're looking for as a speaker, I would really invite you to pay attention to the features that he has in here because it really gives some great insight into the things that, as a speaker, we could really use in our system. So I would really strongly recommend that. And he's looking for any and all feedback. So with that, I will turn it over to Simon. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Sherry, Aaron, and Melody for being here. For everyone watching this later on, I know it's hard on a Friday sometimes to find the time. So yeah, like Steve mentioned, I've been a speaker now. I've been a futurist speaker since 2011, and I've had the opportunity to speak on 4 continents in over 30 states. So I've had a lot of experience speaking over these years. And I primarily work with executive groups now. I've used to kind of work with associations and all kinds of different groups. Now I'm more focused on executive groups and helping them in their companies be future ready. Um, so in my time, I think I mentioned if you're on the call yesterday, the regular monthly call, I mentioned that one of my biggest regrets early on was spending way too much time on admin stuff and not enough time on the keynote and making that as good as possible, my workshops. Just getting distracted with all these different tools. I've tried so many different platforms over the years. And in that time, I was starting to think like, how could you do this better? So I've been keeping notes and kind of building this in my head over the years. And now I've finally taken the time to actually build it and have the tools to do that. But before I jump in to help me better customize this, if each of you could just share either in the chat or, just go off mute, how long you've been speaking, and then maybe one or two things that have been a challenge for you, or just even a frustration or a hassle for you with the administration side of your business, with like the operation side of your business. Sherry, would you like to start here? You're on the top of my stack here on the Zoom call.
I would love to, Simon. So, when you ask how long I've been speaking, I don't know. Because I did a lot when I was in corporate for over 20 years. And then I just kind of have done a hodgepodge here and there over the last, I guess, for my first few years of being a coach. And over the last years when I've really started doing it more. So,
Okay, so a lot of speaking to promote or for your other job, and then now more for your own business.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was always leading meetings and doing all that kind of stuff, but admin wise, it kind of all just drives me crazy. I mean,
Okay.
the so I use Kajabi to track all of my coaching clients, my website, my newsletter, all that jazz. And now that I'm doing more speaking, I have a gargantuan Excel sheet that has the people I want to reach out to, the people I have reached out to, all the things, and then just maintaining it and remembering to look at it and look at the right sheet, all of that stuff. I know I'm overcomplicating, and that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts.
Okay. Good to know. I can think a lot of us share that feeling about everything. Aaron, how about you?
Absolutely. I am definitely also very similar to Sherry and Hodgepodge. I have had my business and have been speaking for 13 years, but I was in IT full time for 10 of those first years. So it was just random here and there. Now I've been full time for 3 years, but I did a lot of speak for free at the beginning, and I didn't have a good, strong call to action because I wasn't a keynote speaker. Now I've got a stronger call to action, and I'm actually stepping more into that keynote speaker. So it's interesting how life happens. For my CRM, I just use an Excel spreadsheet that's similar to Sherry. I have to make sure I'm looking at the right tab, make sure that I'm writing in all the follow-up. I'm sure I'm going to need to upgrade that sooner rather than later. And also similar to Steve, like my invoicing is just, you know, I've got templates from whatever else I've already invoiced, and then I just kind of cut and paste what I need as I'm creating that. So that's where I find I would want the most help with currently is the invoicing side of things and contracts.
Okay, good to hear. I will definitely be talking about that. And how about you, Melody?
Hi. So I started my speaking business in 2019 and then came 2020.
Right.
So I had 3 gigs and then shut her down. And then
Yeah.
really was kind of through the space. I was getting divorced in that midst of that space as well. So really didn't do anything, but then I did Speaker Academy 2023, 2024. And that just really kind of lit the fire. And really now within the last year, I'm starting to step into the space of acknowledging that I actually am capable of doing this thing and still maintaining my day job at this point, which I'm the owner of a home care business. So for me, I use Talkadot, and I also just subscribed to Zoho. So I don't have any contacts in there yet, but I do have it ready to go. It's on my to-do list. I have nothing in terms of contracts. My invoice is currently a Canva a design that has like me typing the information in and sending it. So I have no invoicing. I have no contract. And I have some gigs coming up. So I kind of have to like step into the big world of like trying to figure that out. So that's where I am.
Okay, I think that's where a lot of speakers are. Even 5 years in, sometimes they're still, I was kind of the same way using Word docs and trying to put everything together. So just on the very top level scale, the reason I built SpeakerKey is to, number one, dramatically reduce your admin time so you can focus more on getting your message right and working with clients and making, networking, building relationships, and not just all the, copy and paste, like you said, in Canva and using Excel spreadsheets and things like that. The second thing, and this is especially important for new speakers, is I want to make you help you be able to almost instantly level up your business and how it looks to event planners, to maybe bureau partners a little later on if you don't have that. Where you have professional looking documents, professional looking communications, you can stay on top of everything. You understand your business, like really drill down the different parts of your business and what's working, what's not working. But I also want to clarify, SpeakerKey, at least in its current form, is not primarily a CRM. There are ways you could use it as a CRM, but it's not built as a CRM. And one of the reasons is what I've found over the years is the tools kind of drop in 2 buckets. Either they're way too simple and they only do part of what you need, so you still have to use a bunch of other tools and you're still just putting tools together and it doesn't really help. Or they're way overkill, where it's for people that have like, doing 30K keynotes with 3 team members and they have all these different tools, and it can be so hard just to stay on top of that you end up working more on that than you would have just doing your spreadsheets. So I was like, how can I just reduce this down to what I would need as a speaker? I've been doing this for 14 years. Just the things you need all in one place, as easy to use as possible. And also for newer speakers, I've always been working with newer speakers trying to help them and get them started. So I can just show them this and they can just instantly level up and have the contract that looks professional, have the invoices look professional, travel expenses, all those things. And just to talk about pricing, I'm not trying to be sneaky or anything like this. It's just the first 30 days is free. It's $21 a month. After that, there's only one tier that includes everything. Your data is always your data, so you can export your data into spreadsheets. That's just the most efficient way, just to have everything which you can put in any other system. So I'm not, there's no siloing. I'm not holding your data, anything like that. Also on the security side, all documents and everything are stored on Amazon S3. So that's all totally secure on that side. The subscriptions are done through Stripe, so I have no access to any kind of credit card information. That's like bank level security. Everything's enterprise level security, just to kind of get those things out of the way really quickly here before we jump into the demo. So are we ready to get started? Everybody? All right.
Sure.
So let me share my screen here and jump in. Actually, am I sharing right now? No, yeah, I am. Okay. So right here, I'll just go to the sign in page and just, I've got so many different test accounts. This is my Simon Says account where I've got some previous data loaded here for you so you can see it. And just also to clarify, I'm just going to run through the features quickly here, and then we'll have some time for questions about maybe how to do some of these different things. So I'm not going to get into the weeds and then you right click on this and you click on this. It should be pretty apparent, but if you have any questions, we'll have some time. And because you joined this group, like Steve mentioned, I'm happy to do a 30-minute call with you about this or just about something just about speaking, whatever it is, if you find some value in that, just because I've been doing this for a really long time and I work with a bunch of different bureau partners and international events, things like that. So I'm happy to help wherever I can. And also I'd be willing to, if you'd be willing to give me some feedback, I'd be willing to give you either 3 months free in addition to the first 30 days to try it out more, or 50% off just kind of in perpetuity, whatever you feel like would be the best fit for you. But regardless, it is 30 days free to try out. And I think in that time, if you spend any amount of time, you'll be able to see, will this work for me or not? So, all right, with that out of the way here, let me jump in. So it's going to drop you on the dashboard here. And so this is kind of like your universal place to see all of your information about your events, kind of get a really quick view of everything. So you can see your upcoming events, your previous events, how much pending income you have from these, total income for the year so far. And you can also change the time period here to kind of drill down to certain time periods, either last year or maybe a custom range. Income per attendee, total audience reached, which is really valuable if you're trying to get some of the NSA certifications. You need to have look at how many people you've spoken with. Client relationships. Because of Steve gave me some feedback, so I've got the top states you've spoken in, so you can kind of see, I'm getting a lot of business in whatever state and how much income you've earned there. You've got an events calendar, which shows upcoming pre-decision, which is like if you've done a call with them and you're down to the last 3 speakers or something, or it's kind of like hold. That's another term a lot of people use in the industry. Didn't get, so you can kind of track those too. And then previous events, obviously, which would be, not in the future here. And then your annual goals, which will show you how you can set those. Some business insights just based on the information you have here. A quick view of all of your upcoming events. And then any of your bureau partnerships. If you work with bureaus, you can kind of quickly see which bureaus are providing the most value for me, which ones I've done the most work with in the past, which I have the most upcoming events with. And then also this activity here, this activities thing here is really helpful. If you have a lot of upcoming events, it can be really frustrating remembering, okay, I have to send slides to this group. I have to follow up and schedule my pre-call with this group. So anything you have saved in the individual events will pop up here in chronological order. So you can see like just one single place to keep track of anything you might need to do. So that's just kind of like the top level dashboard with all the information that you need. But we'll get into some more of the more powerful tools here. So the profile really kind of drives everything and makes it so you only have to enter things once for a lot of the other stuff. It kind of feeds into everything else. So it's just all your basic information. As you can see in here, you can upload some different speaking pictures, your speaking fee, your travel fee, your logo, your W-9, home airport, dietary restrictions or preferences, your activities, and I'll show you why that's important in just a second. Your speaker bio, so if they have like an agenda or an app for your event that you're going to, or they want to put it in their newsletter or whatever, that's on there. Your different keynotes, you can put up to 3 different, it doesn't have to be a keynote, but 3 different presentations. Your AV requirements. If you have a speaker reel, like your YouTube or your Vimeo link can live here. You can set your goals for the year here, and that feeds into that dashboard, so you can kind of track your goals. And then any bureau partners that you have, you can attach those to events, which I'll show you in just a second here. And also something I found really helpful is questions. So a lot of times, especially as you've been speaking for a little while and moving up the fee range, you have pre-calls with the clients. So you have like a 30-minute call before they either choose to hire you or after they choose to hire you, but before the event. And so there's a lot of questions that I find myself asking over and over again to different events. So you can load up to 10 questions here on your profile that will automatically show up on that event on the event page, which I'll show you in just a minute here. And I've got some common questions preloaded, but you can also create your own custom questions too. The whole purpose of all this is just to save you a lot of work in the back end, because there's so many things that stay the same regardless of client. And so this just prevents you from having to keep copying and pasting and things like that. It just all lives right here. And then the contract template, this is a pretty solid contract template for legal reasons. I just said, change it based on your usage. So, if this fits for you, just make sure you leave all these like event location, speaking time, all those things, those little fields the same so it can feed into it. And then you can change it. I'll show you on the events page. You can change the contract per client if you want to make a modification or something's different with that client. And then of course you can export all of your data at any time. So you always own your data. I'm never trying to like trap your data where you have to keep paying a subscription or something like that. Okay, so let's look at events. This is the really important piece here. So I've got it in 4 categories here: upcoming events and pre-decision, which is like a hold basically, and then previous events you did, and then events that you didn't get. So maybe you did the call, you got in the last top 3, and they just went with somebody else. You can kind of track those right here. Before I get too far ahead of myself in the event, so does anyone have any questions on the dashboard or on the profile page?
I'm just wondering, is it possible to make it any larger?
Oh, I don't know, because I'm on full screen here. Let me see if I can.
You might be able to change your view, Melody, to something different, or slide over the like usually there's a divider that you can slide over.
Does this look larger now? Because I just upped the size on my screen.
Sorry, it does just a little bit. Yeah, it was just
a little bit. Let me try.
Oh, there we go.
This will keep.
Okay.
Yeah, is that better?
Maybe I did that. I don't know. Are you doing that?
That's too big here.
Because you can take it off of like speaker view or something. I think you can look at the different views up there and see if you can find one that.
Yeah, it's like full screen.
Okay, cool.
Can you see?
Thank you.
Is this larger for you now? I just made like 150%.
Very big.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's you. And thanks, Mel. You reminded me of a really good point. This all completely is mobile first, so it completely resizes for mobile. Depending on the device, it can be a little bit wonky. I'm still kind of getting that nailed down because there's so many different device sizes, but this is very much intended to be able to use wherever you are and not have to be like back at the office or something.
And Simon, not so much a question, but just on that home, I think it was on the dashboard, the main page too. Just that states thing, I think it's super interesting, obviously, to look at it by state, but also at least the way that my accountant wants it. He wants my revenue broken down by state, to be able to do like state tax things. So he does like an apportionment thing where he just says, okay, looks at the total revenue and divides it up that way. So that's a super handy way to just look at the revenue by state. And then you mentioned the to-do list. For me, that's one of the biggest features for this. And I'm not trying to sell, but just for me, like when you start getting 50, 60, 70 events a year, and it's like, okay, when do I have to send my slides for this group? And oh, that's right, I need to send this by that day and collect the deposit there. For me, that action items thing is going to be a critical element for me.
That's a great point, Steve. Once you start getting a lot of events, it gets so frustrating, like missing, like, oh, I was supposed to send my whatever, do this for them by that time, record the promo video or whatever. And this just makes sure you look really professional because everything's just right there. And you don't have to like try to track through your emails and see who wanted what, things like that. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Steve. So yeah, let's just jump right into events then. So this, like I said, it's just based on the 4 different statuses of event. So let's just look at an upcoming event here. So you can either delete it or click on it to view it here. So this is where this is a key feature that I wanted to have for the tool here to make it really valuable. Everything you need for your event is on one page. So you're not going back and forth looking for folders. I used to do so many different things like folders and looking through emails and trying to, I forgot to download the agenda, whatever. Everything is in one page. So you have your contact, everything about the event, the bureau partner, if you work with the bureau partner, all your fees, any event files like contracts. You have your pre-meeting questions that I mentioned. So if you're doing a pre-call with them, you have everything right there. You can just fill this out. So it's all on one page. And then you have any research notes, related events you want to mention, your keynote information. So if you, I'll do an edit mode so it's easier to see here. So you can, fill this in as you're talking to the client, and then you can actually pick, if you have your 3 presentations loaded, you can just pick which one you want to use for this presentation. And then you can adjust it too. Because a lot of times you have like a core thing, but then you might need to, it might be the whatever of the future of, and there might be manufacturing or hospitality or whatever. You can just switch out make it easy. Any kind of flight information or anything about the hotel you need to know, how your ground transportation is, your event expenses. So this way you can track all of your expenses here. I just made an other category because there's like a million different variables that it's just, I don't want to make a 50 item drop down. So it's just other expenses. So let's just do, for example, let's say the flight was $1,000, just whatever, and we'll add this on there. And then any documents.
Yeah, I think you
made if you have your,
you made it 10,000. So I think only you fly for $10,000 per flight.
I don't think I'm flying for 10,000. Let's see. And then your keynote links again. So if you have like a Vimeo or a YouTube for your outline. I'm sorry, this you have like a Google Docs or something. This is kind of for you just to have it right here. And then your presentation slides, so your PowerPoint. And then I have an API through Google Places. So if on your profile, if you remember, like you picked like your vegetarian or your preferences, mine is vegetarian, or your activities that you like to do, this automatically pulls in the top 5 things based on that, the top 5 rated things in the area of where your keynote is or where your presentation is. So for example, for me as a vegetarian, a lot of times I'm spending like a half an hour looking for a restaurant near where I'm going to be so I can actually find some food to eat before my event. This just surfaces the top 5 things, and you can just click on this and it goes right to Google Maps and you can look at it and make sure it's going to be open. And then Steve and I always talk about like every time I go to a new city, I want to do at least one new thing, kind of make it an additional thing that I'm doing when I'm there. And so I made the recommendations of nearby activities. So it's like, I like to go to like botanical gardens or museums and things like that. And I can always see, okay, what's the top 5 things in the nearest area that I'm in? Just a kind of little value add to make it easier for you. You can change the contract terms if there's something special about this contract, and then kind of keep track of it they paid and things like that. And then I kind of wanted to make this in the flow of how you actually use it. So if there's any additional notes, or if you have any feedback like testimonials or survey results, this can all live right here on the speaker feedback tool after the event. And so everything for the event is in one page, which makes things so much easier, especially as you get more and more events. Now let's talk about contracts and invoices. So you'll see that how everything pulls together and makes it super, super quick to do a contract. So this is pulling all the information from my profile and all the information from the event to automatically generate a contract. And so you have everything right here based on how you set up the contract in your profile. You can even digitally sign it, add the date. Now the contract is signed. Well, it'll show on the printed view. You can save the contract, and now your contract is attached to the event page, which of course is very important. Let's make a deposit invoice. One click, here's your deposit invoice. So this just pulls off the standard 50% down fee for the thing, for your event. You have this right here. So let's save this to our event page. And then your expense invoice. So I just added the flight for $10,000. The very, very nice private jet you're going to take. So then, oh, no, it's $1 million. Okay, that's a glitch I gotta look at. Okay. Something's off there. That's why we do these things. So then you have your expense invoice. I'll save that on there too. And now, just like that, you have professional looking contract, invoice, everything, and it just pulls off you're not repasting and everything. It just pulls everything off the profile and off the event page. Now, here's the beautiful part. This is one of the best parts of this app here. So I'm sure you're accustomed to working with event planners, and every event is different. Some need your pictures, some don't. Some need an intro, some need a bio, some need your W-9. I mean, there's a million different things they might need to send them. And you're trying to email those attachments, and sometimes it gets blocked because they're it gets screened out or whatever. So this is a way to share everything that they need in a single URL. So I'll show you how you do this. You just click Share Resources, and then you pick, okay, maybe this event doesn't need my AV requirements, but they do need my contract. They do need my invoices, and they do need my W-2 or W-9. I got to change that too. Do need my W-9. So what you can do then, you just generate link, and then they have a professional looking link. It's SpeakerKey and then your name, and then it's a bunch of numbers and letters for security. And then everything they need, your keynote information, they can download your picture, they can watch your speaking reel. This is all pulling from the event page and from your profile page. They have your speaker introduction, for whoever's introducing you. Their invoices, they can just immediately download. Your presentation slides, they can download or view. Your W-9 they can see, and then the contract they can sign and get back to you, all in one single link. So it's all just super easy. You're not copying and attaching things. It's just a single link to have everything. If something changes, maybe they initially said they didn't need your pictures, but then they do. You just share resources again, add pictures, and just send them a new link. So it's super, super easy just to do it in one shot. Last couple things here, and then I'll open up to questions. Anything else, any kind of feedback? If you get stuck in anything, if you use this here, I've got a full tutorial, kind of just step by step, and it'll track your progress so you can see exactly how to do everything if you get stuck in anything. And then account settings. So this is where you'll have a countdown for how long you have left in your 30-day free trial, and then you can, at the end of the trial, you can either subscribe or you can just download your data and delete your account if you decide it's not going to work for you. And then here you can import or export. The import feature is really nice if you already have a bunch of other events that you want to bring into the platform. So I've created a template that's just, like event name, client name, all these, the very common titles. You can just copy and paste from your whatever platform you're using, whatever Excel or whatever you're using, and then import it, and it'll automatically load everything into SpeakerKey in like the right format and everything to make it super, super easy for you.
And
And
a lot of
then the
that,
last piece.
that's nice, Simon. I'll just jump in because that was something that I requested even more robust pieces because it's for me, I've got all this backlog of data that I do like look at analysis and that kind of stuff on. And so I didn't want to have two systems running. So be able to import all the past stuff now allows me to do all that dashboarding stuff he's talking about and looking at sort of the holds and all of those things.
Yeah, because I know most people aren't going to be like doing their first event after they get SpeakerKey. They're going to have some kind of previous events that they want to bring in. So I want to make it as easy as possible with all the different systems that people are using, just to be able to just use really, really well-known fields and just copy and paste them in there. And then the FAQs, just general information about any questions you might have. And then the feedback, you can either do a bug report or a feature request and then decide how important it is. And then that's just instantly emailed to me. And it just tells me like what kind of, like if you're using Chrome or Safari or whatever, so I can kind of see if it might be a bug with a certain operating system. And then you send the feedback there. So that is the super fast overview here. Oh, one last thing. I also put a universal search in here. So like if you're like, oh, I was at that one hotel, what was it, what city was that in? You can type like the name of it in, or like maybe like it's a tech conference and it'll pull up anything. Or maybe, the client's name was Miguel. What conference was he from? Oh, he's from the Econ Dev Agency or whatever. So you can just instantly find, and because sometimes if you have a bunch of events, you're trying to remember like where was that one hotel or whatever, and then you can just instantly find it through all of your data on there. So I will stop talking here, and then if we have any questions or anything, any feedback or anything, I'm not going to leave you with a call to action. I'm leaving you with a call to collaboration because I'd really like to get your feedback and how I can make this more usable for you. This isn't just like I'm going to say like made the perfect thing and I'm just going to put it out there. I really want to get feedback from everyone and see how it best fits your business flow. So
I think honestly, it's spectacular. I have a traumatic brain injury from a car accident a number of years ago, and organization is a challenge for me. And so I'm always like, I can't find it. I don't remember what folder it was. What did I name it? Where would it be? And it deters me from actually moving forward, sort of like be able to go like, oh, look, one place, one like vault. So that to me is very appealing to be able to have everything in one spot. So you can, and then be able to search, because I'm always doing that too. I'm like, oh, there was that thing I did that time. Where was it? Like, right? So yeah.
I do that all the time. Yeah. Like, what was that one time? Oh, a conference. I know the name, but I don't remember who the client was, or I know the client, but I can't remember the
I
conference.
wore yellow. I know I wore yellow. Yeah.
Right. I don't think I can help you with that on here, but
You can put that in your notes what you wore, and then you can search on what you
Right,
wore.
yeah, there you go. Put it in your notes. And
But yeah, very, very impressed.
I'm impressed with it too. So I did note down 2 questions because you have that like that income per attendee. That's really cool. So do you have like somewhere in here that you can keep track of like back of room sales in this as well, so that you can be including that?
I don't, but that's a phenomenal idea. Back of room sale.
And then the other, you had the signature. So the other party, whoever you're working with, they have the ability to also sign the same document, or?
So that is the really tricky part. I tried to make it initially where the other people could sign too, but the amount of extra layers you have to do to make that work and all the new things it introduces just gets really challenging. Currently, they'd have to do it old school. They'd have to like download the PDF and then digitally sign it and then email it back to you. Or even if they really want to go old school, they can print it out and physically sign it and scan it and send it back to you. But they could just do it as a PDF and just sign it in the PDF, which most planners and bureau partners and things will have that. Although bureau partners usually just use their own contract anyways. Yeah, I did try to do that, but it was just that maybe in a later version, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah, very cool.
I broke like 10 things trying to do that. And I'm like, I can't do this.
That's really awesome. Thanks.
Simon,
How about you, Sherry? Did you have any?
for that back of the room, sorry, just for the back of the room sales too. If you're going to add that in, can you make sure that that also does it by state? Because that would be helpful for like sales tax things.
Yeah, it would live with the. I'm going to do that. That's a phenomenal idea, Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm gonna it'll live since everything for each event is on the event page. It's going to live on the event page, so that'll automatically get brought into the state that you're in because it's already
Okay.
it'll be tied to that event. So
Yeah, as long as it's tied, then it could be even downloaded, and if it had to be done that way too. Okay, cool.
the one thing though, and maybe you could help me with this. I Would you want to put the total amount that you earn or the total amount of revenue you make? It would just be the revenue, right? Because it's going to be really tricky getting everyone's different costs for each item and things like that. Just like total revenue, would that work? So you could do your
Like the
expenses,
back
just
of
add in
room
your
sales
expenses.
for the back of room sales
Yeah.
for Aaron. Okay.
Yeah, I think just total revenue. I mean, for myself, it's just a book, so it's just one single thing, But I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't know how much people are going to want to track because at the end, if you're tracking like, okay, well, I met this person from the speaking event, but that's not what this is about. This isn't like the CRM where, oh, that person then became a coaching client and part of my group coaching or attended my future retreat or, I don't think you wanted to go that direction with this. So I think it would just be a total revenue for like a book sales type of a thing or.
And then you can deduct off the cost of each book or whatever on your taxes and stuff, not on the. Yeah, the challenge with this is every speaker does things so differently. And then everything you add can also cause another problem for like the way another speaker does it. So it's been this constant balance of not trying to like get a feature creep where I'm keep adding more and more and more. And then also like trying to make it work for the most amount of people, just recognizing some people it's not going to work for just because it isn't quite tweaked enough or it's not quite. But yeah, it's been a learning experience for me, even after all these years to speak. Yeah, sure. I'd love to hear your feedback. Any questions or anything you think I should add on here or take away or anything like that?
So this is fantastic. So this is I have some questions that are probably more specific to just my needs. So just let me know if that's the case. But going back to the contract in particular, so when they sign it and return it, then we can include that in here too, or how does that work?
Yeah,
And I can't imagine the number of layers that you tried to work through trying to get it automated and all that stuff. But
so what you can do then is just you have your event files, so you can just upload just name it like sign contract and just upload it, and then it just lives on on that event page. So, and even things like if you have like, for example, like I just had a client down in Florida and they had like a really complicated building, like where the venue was. And they're like, they had to send me a map of like what door to go in because it's like so massive. So then I can just save the event map, like just these one-off things. You can save it on the event page as just a file. So when I get to the event, I can just look at my event page on the app and then be like, oh, there's the event map. It's right there. Versus trying to find the email from the event planner and figure out what attachment it was. And, it's like going through all the different, was it the 7th response or the 11th one or what was it? So you can put any kind of file on here, the signed contract or whatever.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so a couple questions that might just be specific to me. So I do training for a company and I get paid differently. They line up the clients, I do the training. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many tabs in my Excel spreadsheet. Is that something I could track in here, but just a little differently? Does that make
having like
sense,
one
Simon?
system for training and one system for speaking, like traditional speaking, you mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you trying to manage them differently, Sherry, or more like look at the financial results?
Well, because I still have I'm still waiting for information from the client. I'm having interaction with the company I'm working with. I still have a discussion prior to the training to understand their needs. So it's a lot of the same things, but I have a separate invoicing process. There are some things that are same and some things that aren't.
You could also, so you gave me a really good idea, but I'm going to try to figure out how I could solve your problem though for this, or not your problem, but the way you'd want to do this.
Right.
So I think a good idea that you just gave me would be to have on every event, it could be a training, a workshop, a keynote, a breakout. Like you could pick what
Ooh,
type of event it is. Just and that'd be super. I could do that in like 10 minutes. That'd be a super easy thing to implement on there. But um, if you wanted to make a separate invoice, like let's say you have it is kind of a one-off situation or like a unique
yeah,
situation. But if you have your own invoice that you're doing just for trainings, just keep that. But then you can just upload it onto instead of creating it on the system, you can just upload it as one of the files. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
one extra step, but it would help you kind of still use your own. Um,
yeah. And I think maybe I'm kind of thinking about that. I didn't really realize this, but in Kajabi, you can tag your people like, oh, they attended this event or this event. And maybe it's kind of like tagging it something in particular. So, maybe I tag something and don't cater to my needs. I'm just throwing stuff out there in case this applies to anybody else. But like, so EFR is the company I do training for or on behalf of for their clients. So maybe I would just tag it EFR training or something like that. I don't know if that applies to anybody else, but it would be
well, on
similar to
the
doing, workshop versus training versus whatever.
on the event page, you have an extra. I made that extra category just to do additional notes where you could put,
Oh, right. Mhm.
just do it that way. Also on the clients, I didn't show, yeah, I forgot the clients. So the clients you can look at, this is all the clients you have entered. You can look at newest, oldest, and these are just like the clients from upcoming events or A to Z by company, A to Z by name. Um, Good way to keep organized, Melody. Like you said, I do the same thing where I'm trying to like look through all but if you look at the actual clients, you can also add a note on the client too. So you can do it that
Oh,
way. And you can
okay,
also see
cool.
how many events you work with the client and how many were of each thing and things like that. So
Kind of
excuse me.
piggybacking on that, then too, I guess, if there's a macro level way to indicate what type of event it is for people that have different things. If you were to go down that
Yeah.
road where you have like, okay, here's speaking, here's training, which is different. If there's kind of a macro way, then you could split, look at income. That could be a filter on the income or the dashboard or whatever. But also
Yep.
then I could see, again, not to make more work for you, but like even like the templates, whether it's for a contract or an invoice or even that checklist, maybe there could be like a different, which checklist do you want to use? You want to use the speaking checklist or the training checklist? If if they're different, if there's different types of interactions going
Mm.
on, that could be a nice tool too.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe you select
Yeah.
the fields you want in your list. So maybe
Right.
the same
Kind of
field
like
applies. Yeah.
the ones like how you share it, kind of the same idea. Like you just pick which ones are you
Yeah.
want to do on
But
the
if you know that,
Yeah.
like if you say, I don't know, Sherry, if your training has like different steps along the way to prepare and
Hmm.
then follow up or whatever, if they're significantly different than like a keynote speaking thing, it'd kind of be nice
Hmm.
to have like a different, like which list do you want to use sort of thing.
Yeah.
Does that
so
make
And I
sense?
on
think because everybody has different needs and every situation is different, maybe just so we could customize them to whatever degree makes sense
Right.
for us too. So you wouldn't have to figure out everybody's needs, but you could just put some fields out there. And maybe we have the option of creating an additional field if there's something in particular we want to track.
But then be able to save it like as a temp as part of your
Right.
template
Yeah.
checklist. You're not doing it every time.
Right.
Yeah. I know I can easily make it like this is a training event, this is a keynote, this is a workshop. That's no
Mhm.
problem. You can make it searchable and things like that. The individual templates for each one gets a lot trickier because the way it pulls from the database is going to get really messy.
Mm,
I have to think about this because what ultimately happens is it ends up slowing everything else way down because it's searching so many different instances basically.
mhm.
Not impossible, and there's probably a way to do it, but I think first of all, I'm going to implement the type of event. That's a great idea to do the type of event. And so that way you can easily see these are training events, these are workshops, these are keynotes, these are breakouts. Um, yeah, these are, you got the gears turning here. I'm trying to think how to do this.
And I have no idea how you do any of this, Simon. So I could just throw anything at you and say, oh, well, this would be nice.
And then the AI should call the client and set up the. Steve, did you
Well,
have
and
any?
okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
No, go ahead, Steve. I've taken a lot of time. You'll come back to me. Don't worry.
This
Go
is why
ahead,
this is why
Steve.
we're here. I really appreciate your time. So anything you have to, tell me or ask about, this is great. So
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else. This is, I know I've seen it before too, and those new questions that have been coming up are really good, I think, as far as the
Mhm.
actual usage thing. I don't know if we have time either, but if you're out of questions and if you have time, maybe it might be helpful to see like one event start to finish, but maybe that takes too long.
Oh, to add an event?
Yeah, but maybe that's not needed for this if people don't need that.
I mean, I can just show you how you do it without filling every field in. I mean, it's really, really quick.
If
Well,
the group thinks
I can
that's
just do that here.
helpful, unless there's other things people would rather see.
Well, it'll take 60 seconds. I'll just do it real quick because it'll take 60 seconds. So basically just go to add event, decide if it's upcoming, previous, pre-decision, or didn't get. Well, you wouldn't, this is what you'd switch it to. You wouldn't start an event as didn't get. That'd be kind of pointless, I guess. But if you have no faith in yourself of closing the deal, just start as didn't get, and if you'd be surprised if you get it, right?
Except if you're a nerd like me, I track the didn't get historically as well, so that I know kind of what my batting percentage is on things that I was considering for. So
that's okay. That's a good point. So then put your event name, like the whatever leadership conference, the date, at the time if you have it, and you can add that in later. The client, so if it's a client you've already worked with, you can just pick it, because it's like a referral client or a previous client, or you can just add the client right here. Just super simple, basic information to add the client, and then it automatically will put in as the client. You can choose if you work with a bureau partner. This just pulls from the bureau partners you already have in your profile. Hotel name, address, and this is what helps you get the recommendations. You can put the address in. The source, so if you didn't work with a bureau partner, maybe it's like a friend that referred or whatever, you can just track that. Total fee the client's paying, your net fee, the travel fee, your expenses, which you can leave blank because you can just fill out the expense thing later on because you won't know that yet probably. The attendees, and this is what helps you track your total attendees. Flight information, ground transportation, all the stuff, all the fields you've just seen on the event page. And then you can choose your keynote if you already know that. And then any additional research or anything that you have before it, and just hit create event, and then it's just going to drop into your list.
And I know you just, sorry to interrupt. I know you just quickly, like you're trying to do it quick, but like you passed over like the AV requirements are part of that. And my understanding is that whatever you select in there, that's going to flow through into the contract, right? So
Yep.
yeah.
Oh.
So it preloads whatever because most people's AV stuff stays pretty similar, but it could be different if it's like a huge venue or something. It just preloads what you have in your profile, but you can like customize it if you want to make any changes. You'd be like, I actually don't want a mic for this. There's only 20 people and we're in a small room. You can just like take that out on the event page, and then it won't show up on the contract, but it will just load in your default one automatically, and you can change it because probably 9 times out of 10 it'll just be your default preferences. So
I have a couple other things, Simon. Anybody else have anything right now? So how about proposals? So I have sent out proposals. I also, and then also applications sometimes, and each application is a little different, but I use a lot of the same language. Do you have any thoughts around either of those?
Yeah, I stopped doing proposals like my 3rd or 4th year into speaking because I was so frustrated because the close rate was so low on them, and for me anyways. So I'm just so out of that world because I just refuse to do them, even though I'm sure it's cost me business over the years. I don't have a good solution for that. That would maybe be like a V2 thing where I can add it in like another feature onto it. I just have to do more research because I just don't do them. And like you said, everyone is a little different. The applications are different too. I remember having to apply to like speak for the state or for a university or something that was different. If it was me doing an application, I would pull up my profile page and just copy and paste into the application because there's probably 90% of it's already in your profile. Instead of trying to make like 100 different solutions in the app itself, like but yeah, I don't know. I'm open to ideas, certainly. I don't know. I just don't have
And maybe it's just a checkbox, like I don't know, where you could track if you applied or when you're supposed to hear back or something like that.
Like on a pre-decision, like sent. Well, and that could just even live in the notes too. You could just be like send proposal on 7-8 or something, and then so yeah, that's the note chat to be kind of the catch-all because there's so many one-off situations. Like I should just make a note section just like
Sherry, are you looking for a way to like to be able to help do the proposal, or more like in here to capture that you did a proposal to like say
more to capture that I did it?
Okay, yeah. So
because I have a document where I'll pull everything for the application, but then a particular application might have kind of a weird question. And then if I run into that question again, I want to be able to remember, oh, that's right. This is how I answered that question. Just goofy stuff like that. Simon, I don't know that any of that is worth any of your time. It's just another thing to track, right? But so when I was thinking about a proposal, I did. Go ahead.
Oh, Oh no, I thought you were moving to a different topic. I was just
Oh,
going to say really quickly, one thing
Oh,
we
yeah,
could
no,
do,
go
or
ahead.
I could do on here, is just add on the event on the bottom here where it's like the payment status. I could just put this as event status and then maybe put like proposal sent, and you could just check the box
Oh, yeah.
there.
Maybe it's as easy as that. Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
I
Sorry,
think
sorry to
that
interrupt.
I think that coupled with like if you wanted to do like a follow-up too, you could do like the pre-event thing. You could put the event in here, applied for, and then maybe on the your checklist of things, maybe you just have the checklist item that you add or whatever customize is follow up with them if that's something that you want to do. Maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
another way to kind of manage it before it gets to that decision phase.
Mm-hmm. And I
Because
think it
yeah,
would
for
be,
example, you could just do like on the pre-decision just event checklist and then like send proposal and then let's see this and add, and then when you go to the dashboard, it'll show.
mm-hmm.
I may have to refresh it here. Yeah, you have it on there too. So
Oh, great. And something else that I'm tracking is due dates for applications and
mm.
by when a decision is supposed to be made too.
So I have it right now where if you have something in pre-decision, and then let's say the event was supposed to be July 11th. If you open SpeakerKey on July 12th, it'll be on the top. A thing will pop up and say, "This event is currently in pre-decision, but it happened yesterday. So like, did you get this, or do you want to like change the status of this to like previous,
Mm-hmm.
or So maybe it could be something kind of along that same idea, like this was sent or whatever. Did you get this? Something like that. Some kind of follow
Mm-hmm.
up onto the like at a certain amount of time. Like you can maybe set the reminder yourself. Like I want to know in 2 weeks to remind myself about this. Or
Right. Yeah. To trigger. Yeah.
See, that to me,
but I
yeah,
guess
that
you
seems like more of something more I do on my CRM. But yeah, if you could do it in one spot, that would be nice.
and you could do an action item too. I mean, that could all just live in action items too, where you put the
Mm-hmm.
like follow up with this or double check this application or something. Or
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. If you're using like a CRM, you do kind of all that stuff, Sherry, in there, and then once you get to the point where you're actually got the event or something there, you could import it into here. Or if you don't have the
Mm-hmm.
CRM, I could see you could use this for that and just maybe enter basic information, but instead of doing like all the information about the organization, just say, just put in, Sherm, Minnesota, pre-event.
Mm-hmm.
And when you fill out a call for speaker, you could just do something basic there. And then, if you get it, then you could go ahead and fill the rest of the stuff in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And see
and
it
I'm
pop
looking
up.
to I'm looking to add the API for Zoho and a couple other ones to be able to like read back and forth. That's probably a V2 thing too. Just so I want to get this rock solid and get the feedback. But that is definitely on the roadmap to include. So like you can just move it from your CRM into your or back and forth and things like that if I can get everything to work. So
And I think this is a one-off, Simon, but when I was referring to the proposal, I had one in mind. I'm doing a speaking event in February, and they said they knew they wanted to hire me for something, but she wasn't sure about which one of three different things. So I sent her the proposal with three different prices. And she said, I think we're going to go with this, but I need to follow up with her at some point before then to see what her final decision is. And then I need to send her because I invoiced her for the deposit for that particular presentation, but then the remaining balance might change, so I'll have to send her another invoice. So there's those kind of things. I'm not sure how one-off those are and how relevant they are to anybody else.
you could still make a pre-decision event for the date that she's like tentatively saying she wants to hire you for,
Mm-hmm.
and then put the fee in for what the fee is you think is going to be right now. And then if she changes the fee or if the fee is different for the other part of it, you could just adjust the price to make it so the remainder is the right amount. You have to kind of just play around with it, but then it would still show up
Right.
the correct amount in your overall
Mm-hmm.
tracking and everything like that. But yeah, that's kind of it's not
And
like
I
it
think for
happens.
me,
Yeah,
it's more just tracking what I need to send by when, just reminders basically like, oh, that's right.
yeah.
I need to send her another invoice and I need to make sure it's the right balance and just all of that because my calendar has, everything on it. So I like this calendar a lot.
That's how I plan on using this, Sherry, for part of it is the
Mm-hmm.
is that list of to-dos. Because yeah, I mean, you try to put something on calendar. I just want to for
Excuse
every
me.
event, just like I'll probably put in a bunch of reminders. Hey, follow up there, check on the
Hmm.
invoice status. I mean, I'll probably overkill the thing, but just so then I
Right.
don't have to
Yeah.
remember, right? And then when you have,
Yeah.
I've got like whatever 40 upcoming events or some crazy thing, it's like it's madness. And so if this really can
Hmm.
consolidate it well into a front page to-do list, that will be magic for me, even if it's overkill, like even those minor sort of things that for most people they remember to do. For me, they slip through the cracks.
Not me.
Yeah.
Well, then you get the dopamine hit every time you hit to check the box if you have like 50 things
I'm an
on.
Yes.
achiever, man. That's my
Open
number one
email,
strength. I
check.
love that. Yeah.
Look at their page, check. Check your email, check.
Oh, and if I did something that wasn't
Check
on the
your
list,
email.
I did
Add
something
it
that
to
wasn't
the
on the list,
list.
I will add it just so that I can.
Go
Yes.
make the list.
Yep, so will I.
Which is good in this system because this actually shows your things that you've already done on the event page. So you can actually see the things you've already done. So that actually would make, even above and beyond the dopamine hit, this actually would make sense on the event page. You can see, okay, I already did send this, already looked at this, already
So now you just
sent the
need to add
proposal
something
or
to
whatever.
this to the dashboard that says how many things I've done this year. Then I'll feel really good. How many boxes I
Yeah.
checked.
How many
You
How to
get
make
you
dopamine
get
a
like
new page is all
fireworks.
boxes to
Yeah.
check.
At some point you
Fireworks,
get like
yeah.
fireworks, like woo, Steve Rock,
You did
Go
it.
a
Steve?
little
Exactly.
dancing bear or something, like a gorilla.
A gorilla, right?
Yeah.
That's a good, I like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, if there's any other questions, I shared my email in the chat. If you decide you would like to try this out, let me know when you get to close to your 30 days, and I'll send you a promo code to get either the 3 extra months or half price for life for however long you use it. And then if you'd like to schedule a 30-minute call, just talk about your business or maybe how you could use this more custom for your stuff. I'm happy to do that. So
And I
I
know
have another question, Simon, but go ahead. Anyone else, go ahead.
I was just gonna say really quick. I mean, I know I'm biased because I'm a big fan of Simon, friend of his, all that sort of stuff. But do the 30-minute thing, you guys. Whether it's about this or not, this guy has so much wisdom and knowledge. Whether it's from how to build your speaking business or like I know he's smiling because he's humble, but like even logistics. Like I talked to this guy about like what credit card should I have and how do I use the different resources that are out there and finding flights and all this stuff. So I would just highly recommend do the 30 minutes and just pick his brain.
I just need to meet with somebody to talk about contracts because now all of a sudden I'm like, crap, I don't have anything, and it's scary. And how do you manage book sales? Do you man your own table? And how do you get those video recordings at the end of speaking? And like, I just feel like my knowledge needs to go like from this to this, and I'm hoping at Influence I'll learn a lot. So
it's
You
so
will.
overwhelming. Everyone goes through this. It is overwhelming. There's so many things. And then you have 10 different people all telling you 10 different ways to do things. And then but they tell you whatever helped them be successful, but might not at all be what help you be successful. Then you get to have them tell you, no, you have to do the book sales. You have to write this. You have to do this. And then someone else like, you should definitely not do that because I didn't do it and I was successful. So you have to really, yeah, that's what I was just trying to make this to help you have one less thing to, 100 less things to think about, uh,
yeah, I just love the idea that like literally I can find things. Because
right.
I spend a lot of time looking, and it's time is precious, right? I got the day job. I'm trying to do the speaking thing, and just like and I don't want to be sitting at my computer for 12 hours a day like yesterday. Like, I
And
gotta
then and
get
then
up
I'll
and
just
move.
interject real quick and then think about it from the event planner perspective too, because they're managing this event, probably managing a bunch of events. And I know like my past has been like, okay, I send them an email with, hey, here's a link to the PowerPoint stuff. Oh, here's my W-9. Oh, here's the introduction. And so they're also trying to find a million things too. And so that's what I like about
Mhm.
this one. One of the biggest sources of getting referred is being easy to work with. And I
Right.
think this is
Absolutely. Yeah.
upskilling for me. And so like they might love me on stage, they might love me off stage, but like, oh my God, he was like sending like 12 different emails with all this different stuff. And so even this, I mean, for me, from my perspective, to be able to say, here's a link, all the stuff is in there, my photos are in there, all the stuff's in there. If it's not in there, I'll add it. I think from being easy to work with and finding stuff from our own perspective, it's nice. But from an event planner, I think it puts you top of the list as far as being easy to work with if you can, whether it's this tool or a Google Drive or some kind of consolidation piece.
Good point, Steve.
So one quick question here too that I have to ask before we end our time. and please be as candid as possible, do you think that you would find value in this for $21 a month? Because pricing is always so hard to something like this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. It won't hurt my feelings.
I do know Simon wants honest feedback. So if you're like, yeah, I don't know, please tell him, because I know he really does want that.
No, I mean, honestly, I spend $21 a month in a lot of other things that get me nothing. You know, a $10 cup of coffee, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Simon,
I wanted to price it where even newer speakers could still use it, but I didn't want to like, I'm really just trying to like cover my development costs and my, I'm not trying to make this my whole career. I'm just trying to like, so I was like trying to find that balance of what's a fair price to, because and this does kind of generate some costs too with the APIs and things that it's pulling in. And so, okay.
I think Joe, what's your thought there?
yeah, no, I didn't. I was listening a lot. So hello, everyone.
Oh, hey, Joe.
Yeah, so I'm listening a lot because I'm new to this world. So I'm going to learn, right? First and foremost. But what I can help you with, or not help you, that's not the right word. I do sell software for a living to very large organizations. So I do what you do in person, like this, vis-a-vis this, a million times over the course of my career. And first $21, I would say, is completely reasonable, because imagine how much time folks save as per paying $21, right? So you can tie a ROI to it. Right? I would think, this is a guess, that like salespeople, what I do for a living, speakers want to be speaking, not doing administrative work, right? They want to spend their time doing that. So I think I would say, I haven't seen any other software, but I would say $21 is reasonable. Is this the first iteration, or how long has it been out for? Like, this is V1 version 1, or about how long has your platform been out for?
It went live on SpeakerKey a couple weeks ago, and I'm just doing the final debugging and security checks and everything like that. I've worked with I worked with a dev, and then I had some audits by people in different fields, like product managers and things like that, looking through. So it's pretty close. There's still obviously, like, I just noticed a couple quick things in this demo here, but yeah, it's a beta, but it's like on the other end of beta, like toward the.
Well, I took a lot of notes, and I'm not going to cover them now, just from a sales perspective, because I'm so used to doing this from things that I hear and from what I see. But I'll leave you with the very positive feedback. And I wish a lot of the software that I sold was as clean and easy to use as what yours appears to be. And there's other feedback, but great. It was very good from my perspective.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I would, if you want to.
I'm going to send you a note on LinkedIn. I already have it. Yep.
Yeah, send me. I love candid, as Steve knows very well. I like cherish candid feedback, because I feel like if someone's not honest with you about something, how do you grow? How do you learn? Same with speaking, same with anything. So yeah, anything you would love to share, you'd like to share, I would be open to it. So thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Simon, I'm one of those people who has, I don't know, I have too many $21 a month things that I'm probably not using them to the extent I could. So I'm thinking about, well, what could I potentially get rid of and use this instead? And so I realize I'm a one-off here, but I have coaching and consulting clients that I have in Kajabi, but I sent coaching agreements and so coaching contracts, various things that I have to track from that standpoint too. And I'm wondering if I could potentially use this for coaching contracts and just tracking my coaching checklist in here as well, just a little separately. And that's kind of why I have the kind of tags thing in my head about, training versus coaching versus whatever. And I know that's not the point of what you're trying to do here, but just something that's swirling in my head.
It might even be worth it to get a second account, and I can do the 50% off of both of them for you, since you're part of the group here, where you'd have like one email for the one with coaching, so it's all those numbers are all this together, and then one for the speaking.
Oh, right, yeah.
And eventually, I should make a way to separate that. Yeah, again, it's kind of battling the feature creep and trying to like do too many things before everything.
Right,
like
absolutely, yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Because you're not trying to solve
Joe,
everybody's problem here.
As I'm sure you're very familiar with, Joe, when people are trying to do way too many things before I even have a single customer look at it, and then like, oh wait, nobody actually needs this. Oh, what am I doing?
Yeah, so don't cater to me. I'm just sharing the stuff swirling in my head in case that is helpful to anybody else.
So V4, I'll make the Sherry version where it has just
yes, if you could make the Sherry version, that would be
and,
fantastic.
Yeah. But it could be super customized to everyone to make their own version, I guess. But.
So as we kind of wrap up, I guess let's just speak super clear, Simon. What what are you inviting them into? What do you need? What are you looking for? What are you offering? Just kind of wrap it up in a bow here for us.
Yeah, my call to collaboration here is I'm looking for people that actually use it. You know, the first 30 days are free regardless. Send additional feedback. Maybe you run into a glitch or something that you're like, wish it did that it didn't. And then if you use it for 30 days and you're getting kind of close to that 30 days and you're like, you know what, I think I'd like to stay with this. This is actually super helpful for me. Send me a quick email and then I will give you a promo code to, do the 3 months free or do the half off. Yeah, it's just really my only ask would be that you give me some feedback, like either through the tool on the site itself or through just email me, and just help me make this more valuable to other speakers. That's really what it comes down to. I love helping other speakers. I remember what it's like dealing with all these cut and paste and Canva and all these different tools, and it's just the frustration of, putting your logo on the Word document and it makes everything else like totally out of whack. And you have to like redo it, and then so that's what I'm asking for is just feedback and helping me make this better for everyone else and for you too.
And as far as the 30 minutes with you, should they just email you? Do you have a link? Do you want, they can get a hold of me or whatever? Okay.
No, just email me directly and then we can set up a time and just go from there. So
Perfect.
Well, Simon, thanks for doing this. I know it was kind of rapid fire. I know there's a lot of work that's gone into this, but any of you folks that are on this, yeah, feel free to reach out to Simon with all the stuff he mentioned, or reach out to me if there's any questions or you couldn't remember his email or whatever. But Simon, seriously, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your work.
This was
thanks
great.
for taking time today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. My
And
brain
thanks,
does
you
not
guys.
think in technology. All right,
Yeah.
have a good weekend, all.
He would show me stuff, and I'll just say one more thing. I know we're over time, but he loves this stuff. Like this guy, like I mean, seriously, like you think I'm a nerd, like this guy just loves. He's like, oh, wait till you see what I did on this thing. So I think he loves what he does too, which is super super important. But we'll wrap up there. Otherwise, yeah, just reach out to me if you have any questions, or reach out to Simon directly. But thank you all for jumping on here.
Yeah.
Seriously appreciate it.
Have a
Thank
great day.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
y'all.
Thanks,
Bye.
Steve. Thanks,
Bye.
Simon.